Hello there, my name is Squalo and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So guys and girls, in today's video about Bitcoin, really want to take a look at some very important news at the CPI numbers and everything that has happened in literally the last 24 hours and what it all means for Bitcoin. Then take a look at some general market long-term observations, which are very, very important. And also we're going to take a look at some price targets and some interesting trades that I'm currently looking out for that you really don't want to miss if you want to make some money. So, and as always, guys and girls, if you want to watch this video, watch it from the beginning and until the end and use this 1.5 speed of the video so you save yourself some time, but you watch the whole thing. I know that the time is very precious, but you have to watch the whole thing, so use that 1.5 speed. And as always, I would really appreciate it if you would share this video with your friends and family members using the share button below the video here on YouTube, that you can actually share it on your social media if you feel like doing it. It would help us to grow as a community, as a channel, and just in general to keep the world educated so people stop losing money. And that would be very great. And also just leave me a like, a thumbs up, and that would be also very, very much appreciated. And before we talk about all the technicals and before we talk about some interesting trade setups, let's get into some of the stuff that happened overnight. And number one, very important stuff is going to be the PCE data, which came in at 6.3%, which again, it was just in May, so it was the same as in April. And it was not really positive and it wasn't really negative. So it's pretty much very close to what was expected. And we're going to take a look at the detailed release right here. Then we will see that the PCE itself, including the food and energy, which we already know that, you know, oil prices skyrocketing. It's going down now a little bit, but because of it, the PCE itself is very high. But on a good note, something that actually Fed has control over, because it doesn't really have control over oil prices and, you know, the war in Ukraine. So for that reason, we really want to look at the PCE excluding food and energy, which actually has gone down. Look, so it's like 5.3, 5.2, 4.9, 4.7, when they were actually expecting 4.8 for this one. So it was actually a little bit positive in a sense, and the one with food and energy stayed the same. So it's overall it's quite neutral, so the price didn't really react that very much to it at all. So it's pretty neutral, so something very important to pay attention to. And remember that the next very important catalyst is going to be the CPI report, which is going to be on July the 13th, and this is the one we really want to see what's happening with this one, because it's going to be a very huge deciding factor for Fed's monetary policy and their actions, etc. Now, as for the news, and this is actually, guys and girls, everybody is interpreting this in different ways, but if you're into cryptocurrencies, you really have to be watching this. And by the way, for the trade setups that we're going to talk about in just a second, I'm going to be putting them in over on Bybit as well as on BitGet, because I want to diversify the exchanges that I'm using. And with my exclusive links to Bybit as well as BitGet that you can find in the description or in the pinned comment, you can claim up to $9,100 in initial deposit bonuses, $5,000 with BitGet and $4,100 with Bybit. And all the links down there, all the instructions are there as well. So go and join us right now and get ready for these awesome trades and use these incredible bonuses. So as for this big piece of news, and that is that European Union agrees on landmark regulation to clean up the crypto Wild West. And everybody's saying that, oh, this is going to kill crypto. But guys and girls, don't judge the book by its cover. Yes, the regulators, they're not really friendly with crypto, but to be honest, and you can go to CNBC and take a look at this article in detail, I've read through the whole thing, and actually, it's very positive. It's actually, and so many big crypto names out there, they're actually welcoming regulation, because it's going to open up this, it's going to create this legal framework for all the big money to come in, so that the scams at least reduce a little bit, and that we flush down all the, you know, shit coins, and we actually hold stable coins accountable for their pegs, etc., which is good. It's good news. The bad news would be if EU would come out and say, you know what, we had enough, we're banning crypto. This would be bad. But this is not what's happening. This is the opposite. And also here, it was very cool to read that these rules will not affect tokens without issuers. We all know that nobody really knows who's behind Bitcoin. There is no team like with Ethereum, for example. And so it's not going to affect things like Bitcoin. So they're not going to be doing anything about it. So this is actually very good news. Now, the next thing thing I really wanted to mention was some interesting news came from JP Morgan that this banking giant says that Bitcoin and crypto meltdown may be short-lived, and here is why. So basically what they're pointing out to is that their strategists are saying that crypto entities and venture capitalists are stepping in to contain the contagion, so to speak, which would shorten the crypto bear market. So basically they are stepping in to bail it out and to actually get it all for cheap, so to speak. So they're betting on it right now. So this is very good news as well, that we're getting this kind of huge support from VCs that are actually believing in this industry. And I mean, JP Morgan is not small, right? So this is very huge, something that is, I mean, this just speaks mass adoption, just like EU, something we just spoke about, and these things that are cooking, and all the huge altcoins like Cardano and Ethereum, all the huge developments, and Solana once it's finally gonna resolve the issues with their downtimes, etc. I think that these ones, the big names, are gonna explode. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this year, but they will. So, and this is what I'm so excited about, which is absolutely incredible. Let me know that in the comments if you are excited for the next crypto bull market, because so many people right now, even in the comments, when the markets are going down, and it's always the same thing. There's so many disbelievers and naysayers and haters that are gonna just be left behind, just like where they were left behind so many times before, while us, we were making a lot of money. And even if crypto goes to zero, we still made a lot of money, which is outside of crypto. We're not, I never recommend being a crypto maximalist. So always make your money and keep maybe half of it in crypto and half of it in other assets, which is a huge tip I'm actually happy to give you. So okay, the next thing I really want to talk about is something really cool in Econometrics, and by the way, follow them, it's really cool. This big article that they've put out is about the expectations from Bitcoin in the next 5 years. Really want to do really quickly go over this before we switch to all the current short-term targets and technical analysis. And they're saying that the venture capital style question that we have to ask about Bitcoin is, what is the total addressable market? And here is a very interesting chart that I've put out, which says that the comparison basically. So currently with Bitcoin, we're right here at $500 billion market cap, which puts Bitcoin at about $20,000 per Bitcoin. Then if we would reach financial gold level, that would put Bitcoin at 120K. And then if we would reach all gold, basically, which in my personal opinion, right now we're having issues with this store value narrative and digital gold, etc. But this will come with time, in the next 5 to 10 years potentially. So, and it's gonna finally become the real hedge against inflation potentially. So it's all in the works, and Bitcoin being a very new asset in comparison to other assets that we have in the markets. So in that, if it becomes this store of value narrative and becomes digital gold, it would put Bitcoin at about $500,000 per Bitcoin. And for Bitcoin to reach 1 million per Bitcoin, it would have to be worth actually around half of the US housing market, which, to be honest, and I agree with these statements right here in Econometrics, that this is maybe a little bit too optimistic for the next 10 years. So potentially that's the case. So I'm actually a Bitcoin advocate in the sense that if everything plays out as it's playing out right now, then we'll definitely see Bitcoin at $1 million, but just the question is when, 5, 10, 20, 50 years, whatever. But it will definitely get there unless, something really terrible happens in the world, which is always an option. So when we're looking at these numbers, what we have to understand is that we have to compare the potential growth curve per year. So all these numbers are all out there. It's not, sucked out of a finger. This is all, real analysts doing real analytical work, understanding the value and the intrinsic value behind Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies in general. And that's what, most haters don't understand, that Bitcoin provides real store value in a sense of true, real proprietary rights, which really do not exist in the world except for Bitcoin. And I mean, it's true. It's just the way it is, even if you use your cold analytical skills, so to speak. And it's also far better in terms of inflation compared to a US dollar. If people are calling a Bitcoin scam, I would call a US dollar a scam, to be honest. So in this instance, when you're understanding this kind of value, you understand that it can easily and will easily outperform high-tech stocks, because Bitcoin is literally, or cryptocurrencies, a high-tech solution, the brand new solution, the new era. So then we can compare it to the growth curves of high-tech stocks as an example. So, and then we can analyze the potential annualized returns on Bitcoin. And usually we have a median between 40%, and here we can take a look at this chart. This is on the low end. Bitcoin usually on average returns 40% a year, and in the best case scenario it returns about 170% per year. So this gives us the estimate between 40% and 70%. And for Bitcoin to actually get to ridiculous numbers in, let's say, next 5 to 10 years, this kind of average is more than enough, guys and girls, to put it far beyond $100,000. And if we're going to take a look at the expected growth, for example, annualized returns of Apple, Amazon, NASDAQ, S&P 500, we'll see that they are roughly, let's go back to it right here. So they're on average, index returns 10 to 20%, when, some high-performing high-tech stocks return about 50% on average. So if Bitcoin is going to outperform high-tech stocks, which in my personal opinion, it has always outperformed them, and it will outperform them. So in this instance, we can easily say that a reasonable bet, a very reasonable one, and I agree with this conclusion right here, that it would put Bitcoin in the next 5 years at least at $120,000. And this is, I think, and it's not just reasonable, I think it's on a low side, in my personal opinion. That's why I'm buying into it so heavily. But again, I'm not going to be putting in more than half of my net worth. So if crypto is going to go to zero, whatever happens, I'm going to still be a millionaire because I still have my companies, I have my cash flow, which is not related to crypto. I have other stuff in the world besides crypto. So I'm going to suffer, definitely, but I'm not going to go broke. And this is very important, guys and girls. Never put your last money into crypto, or any asset for that matter. Is just stupid. So now, since you've suffered with me through this whole video, like it, call me Mr. Spot On in the comments, and now let's get into the technical analysis. So, we had something very interesting. Overnight, we had an insane pump right here, which I looked at it, I was like, Jesus, what's going on? A lot of volume here, and it was a pump of about 12% in literally like 8 hours or 6 hours, which was absolutely incredible. But then it all died down. So a lot of people said that it was an attempt to show that there is, some dip buying going on right now, which in reality was no news that could have done this, or I just didn't find them. So let me know in the comments if I missed something. But right now, what I'm thinking is, depending on how the price is going to act, because we're seeing some volume right now, definitely taking short trades right now is a bit tricky, that depending on the price action, if you're going to be looking for a short trade, just like we've taken an insane short trade that I've posted in the Telegram group, and join my free Telegram group, a link down in the description. It's free. It's a huge trading community where you can learn and communicate and just be part of it. And there was an insane opportunity to take a short trade here as well as right here. But right now, if you've missed this short trade that was, very, very questionable, because we had so much volume coming in, that I would be very careful about these kinds of short trades. But nonetheless, so right now, what we can potentially see is another shorting opportunity from the $20,000 level, which would coincide real nicely also with this downward slope that we got rejected from right here. But depending on how it's going to behave, and depending on the volume and the overall market sentiment, I would be considering to maybe even take a small, and I repeat, small long trade if we're going to have some kind of a powerful close above this resistance right here with some volume, and it's going to show us some nice expectation. And then if it's going to turn out to be a fake out again, then it's an interesting opportunity and a great way to quickly flip it into a short trade and make some money anyway. So us as traders, we have to adapt to what the market is telling us. So this is what I'm going to be personally doing, and I'm going to certainly update you guys in the Telegram channel if I'm going to be taking any trades. So follow me there as well. But I think it's worth saying that I would not expect any huge pumps. So if we're going to have some kind of a close above here, my target would be somewhere around $22,000 and not higher than that, depending on how fast we get there. And remember, lastly, that 4th of July is coming, and so many people are saying that it's going to be the last doomsday for crypto, when there's going to be low liquidity, all the markets are off, so to speak, before the holidays, and that's when some manipulation is going to happen. So I don't know, let me know down in the comments if you think it's going to come to fruition or not. I don't know, I don't really believe in these things, but it's interesting to see if it's going to actually happen. And I'm going to link a tutorial to BitGet copy trading, which we're doing. It works really well, and you can claim also up to $5,000 over on BitGet, and you can watch this tutorial to learn actually up there how to use copy trading. So it's like passive income on your crypto, that you just copy a trader and make money without doing anything. Enjoy, stay smart, stay rich, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.